Now, success on YouTube, there are certain elements that you should really focus in on to really succeed every single day. And I'm really excited because today we're actually going to talk about a few things that you could do to really be successful on YouTube by just applying your energy in the right area. Now, for me, I've been on YouTube since 2005. I've literally seen the whole boom of YouTube. And ultimately, I get really excited now because we're seeing a new generation of YouTubers come up. And also content is getting really, really, really good because it's content that they've seen their whole life. And I'm really excited about what we can learn today from the new content creators that are coming on YouTube, things that make them smart, things that they really look into. And ultimately, that's going to help us as YouTubers, as content creators, make better content for the world. Now, I am really excited because, at the end of the day, YouTube represents so many different things for me. And I love the be able to use YouTube and leverage into ways to expand your creativity, make money, and ultimately build a sustainable business and really get your content out to the world. I get really, really excited about this. And today I'm actually interviewing someone that I'm super inspired by. And I met her basically around October, and her channel blew up. It literally blew up. I was able to see her really catch the wave, and I got to know her a little bit deeper as I started to mentor her and saw that her priorities, where she puts her content ideas, and also her energy and her focus is something that everyone should learn. And I'm really excited to be joined here by Jenny. Jenny, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited.
Wow. So we're here. We are here. I mean, okay, so let's start out. Why don't you kind of introduce yourself, what you do on YouTube, and kind of how you got started?
Yeah, so as you said, my name is Jenny, and I make videos around all things money, but directed towards kids and teens. So I'm trying to inspire the next future generation to be smart with their money and think a little bit like an entrepreneur. And I've been doing YouTube, like kind of what Daryl said, for about a year now, and it's been crazy. Basically, the first 6 months it was a slow grind to 1K, and then the second half, the other 6 months, was basically from 1K to a million. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're able to share some wisdom. And I think the big thing for me is a lot of people have misconception of where success actually comes from. And they might think, oh, it's dumb luck, or it's something that the YouTube algorithm loves them, but they hate me. And ultimately, I want to dispel those kind of misnomers and really dig deep into really refining who you're actually speaking to and bringing value to them consistently. Because when you first started, Jenny, I know this because we've had this conversation before, but like you were kind of just throwing things all over the place. You had a little audience over here, like when you were getting started, what did you think about the viewer and content, and what were you trying, when you first got started, and where was your frustrations?
Yeah, so when I first got started, what's funny is that I like that you mentioned like where was I at with my audience. Literally, I would see like YouTube videos. I would see you like on YouTube and like all the other like kind of the YouTube smart people, and they would talk about like the importance of avatar in your audience, and I'm like, oh, that just can't be true. Like that has to just be whatever. So that, yeah, that's why I was just throwing whatever, and I guess the thought was like trying to see what I like to create and seeing what YouTube likes when I create, and just seeing, just experimenting what people like.
Yeah, and I think when you say YouTube likes, I think the people that are watching YouTube, right? They're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
that's what I
people that
meant.
are actually watching YouTube. One thing that I found is I know that there's a lot of creatives out there, and like, well, I don't want to cater my craft to someone else's, desires or whatever. I want to do this for me. And I always say, like, if you're only making content for you, then only expect one view. Don't expect millions of views. Like only expect one view. If you're the audience, then that's all you can expect. Now, if you get more, that's great. But the key to this is consistent views, getting consistent views that really connect with an audience. And if you're speaking to audience, over here about one thing, and then audience over there, one thing, you start to create split audiences. And that can actually stall a lot of growth, because what happens on YouTube, believe it or not, when people go and see your video, YouTube's watching what they do, whether they click on it or whether they skip it. And they're making notes like, hey, wait, they skipped this type of video. And so it causes some issues and some frustration as creators because they don't really get that portion of it. Did you fall into that trap a little bit when you're posting videos, you're like, hey, I'm putting all this energy and time, and yet YouTube's not just promoting my videos, or I'm not getting the views that I deserve for this type of content?
Oh, 100%. I'm sure we've all been there. Like there was a point where on shorts, like for about 6 months, I was getting no more than 2,000 views. And I'm like, why is YouTube not giving it more views? I didn't understand it, but now I do.
Yeah, and let's kind of dive into this because I can tell you one of the first things that I do when I mentor people, and you know this because I've mentored you for a while, is I'm hyper focused on the viewer. I'm way focused in on the viewer, and when you're creating content or creating value for somebody, it doesn't matter if you're inspiring them or you're educating them or you're entertaining them or you're edutaining them, that you take an opportunity to think of them first of, okay, how can I put it in a way that the audience would really connect with the message, or how can I connect that they can simply understand what's going on and understand it so well that they can simply share it too? Like, how are they going to share these videos verbally, and then also, through that? And so I get hyper fixated on audiences. And when did you get the kind of the aha moment? Like, okay, this is actually real. Like, I really need to focus in on who I'm making content for and refine my craft.
Honestly, it was when I joined Channel Jumpstart. Like, I think this was probably about like 10 months into YouTube when it clicked and I understood the importance of your avatar and understanding who your viewer is. Because like you said, if you speak to that viewer and you speak to a consistent person, not just this person, a consistent avatar, then you're going to get consistent views amongst all your videos. At least that's what I've noticed.
Yeah, and I think the big thing too is there's ways to bring your creativity to a really optimal level when you can start anticipating what value your audience wants, and it also makes you get excited because I know you've done a lot of different videos over the course of your time on YouTube, and you get really excited about an idea. What's the process that you went through before when you had an idea? Like, what was your process to go from ideation to completion, and then let's kind of look at what you do now.
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds so funny because it's gonna sound basic, but I would say I was doing it wrong. Which basically, I would get the idea. Usually, I would just sit there, come up with ideas, and then I would just script it, and then immediately film it, and then just edit it, upload same day, basically.
Yeah.
Which it's basically I get the idea probably midday, and then the video is already uploaded at the end of the day. And it's nothing like
So
that now.
I would say a lot of people that does short form content, that's kind of their schedule. Is like, hey, what's my video for today? And they go through that creation process. And I'm wondering too, where this is a live stream and we have people watching this. Like, do you fall into that trap? If you do, put it in the chat, because it's like, hey, I just need to get something out, and I'm going to force myself to be consistent with it, and you don't go through the process of really giving it the thought process and depth that you need to. And so let's kind of fast forward now. What like, even before you pick up a camera, what do you actually go through from once an idea is formed? How do you actually facilitate it to upload?
Yeah, so first, once I have an idea, I validate that idea. So I'll go into YouTube, I'll see if it's working. If it is, then I'll do it. If it's not, then I'll think, how much do I like this idea? If I'm really passionate
Mm.
about it, then I'll do it and I'll try to make it work. But usually I want to make sure that it's validated. And I'll even like study some other people who did it. I wouldn't copy them, but I'll, learn from their videos, understand what they're doing, what people resonated with, what people didn't resonate with. And then from there, I will put it into an actual, first I will actually schedule it. So I schedule all my content and I'm like a month in advance. So I'll
I,
know
I
around the
did
date I
I
want to,
did not know that. I
yeah,
didn't know you're
really.
completely a month in advance. Okay, but go
Yeah, I'm
ahead.
a
Go
month
ahead.
in advance just in case. So yeah, I will schedule it. And that's why I do multiple shorts at the same time. And I'm very strategic at how I schedule it. So when I have it in my list, because I have multiple ideas, I don't do 2 experimental videos in a row. When I'm scheduling it, I'm gonna make sure I if it's experimental, I'll make sure I upload it right after I did a proven bucket or a proven video.
Yep.
So at least I can experiment every other video or have a good ratio. So then after I schedule it, that's when I get to planning the actual video.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah.
want to I want to unpack a few things because like I think this is a longer answer than and there's a lot of gold here and I don't want to miss out on this. How do you validate? Like what are you doing to validate the videos? Because I think that right there, I think you mentioned a little bit you saw other content out there, but like how do you validate your idea and what's that process that you go through?
Yeah, so I'll go onto YouTube and I'll type in the idea, not necessarily the title, but like keywords or the topic, and then
Hmm.
I'll sort it by most popular. And usually shorts are going to pop up at the top anyway when you do most popular. And then I will take into account how many views the video has, but then I'll go ahead and go into the channel and I'll look for that video and see what the views look like relative to their other videos. Because if they're averaging 1 million views per short and then they get 100K on that video, it's not necessarily that good. But if I find someone who averages 1,000 videos per short, 1,000 views per short, and then they got
Right.
100K views on that short, that's an amazing idea. It's really good. So
Yeah, and
that's what I
I
do.
think too, it's like you're not like taking their idea and rehashing it. You're like, hey, I have this idea about Chick-fil-A, and I want to see what's out there. And so you're going a little bit deeper. You're seeing what's online. You're like, oh, here's someone that did this. This is interesting. Wouldn't necessarily do it that same way, but there's interest in it. There's actually people interested in it. It has these amount of views. Well, why does it have the views? And then that's probably where you go
Mhm.
deeper. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, basically, I'm analyzing as many videos as I can.
Yeah. And how much time? Because this is a fun one. Because I can tell you guys, like this is my favorite part. Because like anyone that I mentor, especially if they're in my channel Jumpstart, it's like, okay, this is the process. Like the more that you can do the work on the front end, and you can really validate, you do recon and research, you can see how people respond. The more successful that you can be on the back end if you're building on the right principles. So my question to you, as your mentor, like how much time are you doing when you actually validate and do that recon and research? How much time would you say that you designate towards that?
3 hours, I would say. About
Yeah,
3 hours.
per video idea or just in general, this three
Oh, no,
hours?
per idea.
Yeah. I can guarantee you. Like, I want to see this in chat. I want to see. Does anyone put more than 3 hours in there? I want you to be honest with yourself. Be honest with everybody here on the live stream. Put it in the chat right there if you do more than 3 hours. I can tell you that the vast majority of people, the quickest idea was, I want to shoot a video, and they go shoot a video, and they're like, okay, what's my title and thumbnail? Instead of really going into the depth of, okay, is this something worth spending all this allocated time to create and produce and edit and upload and optimize this video? Should I actually do this? And what are the elements will help us succeed? And a lot of people just do that other way. They just kind of get it out there and they don't really go into the preparatory stage. But you're doing 3 hours, and I can tell you, I have seen content creators that spend 3 months on validating an idea. And they like maybe not like collectively like the hours wise, but the idea's there. They're trying to refine it. They're trying to make it better. And then I even know a content creator, and I won't say his name's Mr. Beast, but his name is Jimmy. But he spent like 2 years validating an idea to go through it. So it's like there's all this opportunity to do it. And I think 3 hours is an adequate amount of time to spend per idea to validate it. And has there been times that you've spent 3 hours on it and you didn't ever produce the video because it wasn't validated? Or where do you make the decision to kind of cut and go deeper or just go to the next idea?
Yeah, I've cut so many videos, and even I will sometimes I get so excited. I do the script, I do the planning and everything, and I'm like, oh, let me validate them. And then I realize it might not work. I have videos that I have scripted and fully planned out. I haven't even filmed or even filmed or not even finished it. But the the way I know if I'm going to use it or not is just knowing how passionate I am about the idea. How much does it excite me? Because if I was going to do it, I like to think of it this way. If I was going to do it anyway, like whatever the task is, if I was going to do it anyway, such as gardening, then I might as well make a video about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, I love that. So you spend at least 3 hours to really validate and see what's out there, and you dig deeper into the comments of some of those videos and go deeper on the creators that are creating that, and you take that inspiration, and then what's next after that? What do you do after that? Now that you validated the idea, now that you validated the process, how do you take it to the next level?
Well, I'll bullet point and I'll note some important comments, things that people resonated with, things that people didn't resonate with, what I personally liked about the video, and how I can even make it different or better. Because I don't want to just copy people, you know?
Right.
So I'll go from there and I'll bullet point that. And then I will get to scripting the short. Before I film my shorts, I script it completely. If it's something I don't know what's gonna happen, I'll have like the story beats,
Story beats
but
and
everything is
setups. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So on the script, when you go through it, you're basically scripting the shots. Are you scripting the details? Or are you going, hey, this is exactly what I'm going to say, and this is what I'm going to show? Or what are you doing on your scripting?
I do everything. So if I'm just to get a little bit deeper into it, the first thing I think of is the hook. How am I going to stop this person from scrolling? And I will think forever. I will spend almost all my time thinking about the hook. That's where like all my time goes. Everything else, I'll freestyle it. But the hook, I pay probably like an hour just trying to figure out the shot and exactly what I want it to look like. Even draw it out. Have the exact vision of what I want that first shot to look like, and then I'll I'll think about how do I want the video to end? What's the goal? What's the story? And it sounds funny, but I freestyle the rest of it. I'll freestyle my script, and then I will next to each line of the script, I will put the shot list, the shot that's associated with that. So I'll have my script and my shot list ready for when I'm going to film.
Okay, so you freestyle it, you got the prep, and then you're like, okay, here's the shot list, and then you go out and produce it. That's
Yeah.
pretty efficient. Okay, so a couple big questions on it. Um, what if you can't get the hook right? What do you do? Like you validated the idea, but you can't just get the hook right. Have you scrapped it because you can't get a hook, or do you just like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it regardless, or what do you do there?
Yeah, that's why I said it depends on the video. There's some videos, like actually there's an exact example I have that's like I wanted to make it, and I kind of like what you said, you have the idea in the back of your mind for 3 months, and I'll just put it in the back of my head. If the hook isn't like, if it's not sticking, I'll keep it like in the back of my head or have it noted down, and I'll come back to it later. Maybe I figure out a hook, maybe I never do. But if I'm really passionate about it and the hook isn't that strong, I'll still do it anyway. It depends, but I would have to do it after after a video does well, then
Yeah.
I'll upload the risky video.
Yeah, no, no, I like that. I like that too. And I think the big thing is really understanding what pulls people into your content is a muscle that you can develop as a content creator. I can tell you, I've seen people that were horrible at that, but they put the time, energy, and effort of understanding what really pulls people in and are a student of that concept. And you, girl, have done a great job. I think a lot of people would watch your videos and they wouldn't, it'd be so, the hook is so subtle, but yet they watch the whole video and they don't realize that you're hooked in from it. And then two, your audience is different. I think a lot of people, when they look at content, if you're making content for boomers or Gen Xers, they resonate in a different way. You're literally going after Gen Alpha. You know what I'm saying? It's just like at the end of the day, Alpha and Gen Z, and they're different. They're like to hook them is completely different. And I think people don't see those subtle details from it. I think, oh, your videos are just about being successful, making money, whatever, and that's why you're succeeding. But it's not. You're able to hook them in on saving money. Like at the end of the day, how do you get something for free? How do you get something for a buck? And that's where Gen Alpha and Gen Z really go in, because they always want something for free, or they always want something at a discount. That's just that generation. You know, why pay for $18 for a latte when you can get it for $2? You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah,
Isn't that true?
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how I am.
Yeah. Okay. So you're able to do your shot list. You freestyle. Let's get to the editing because, girl, this is where I think everyone, when they hear this of how much time you edit, they're going to think you're insane. But go ahead. Like, how much time do you actually edit a short? Okay. And let's keep in mind, let's say a short that is 28 seconds. Like, let's see, some of your videos are, where are we
They're
at?
34.
Okay.
Exactly 34 is my average.
Okay. Average. Okay. See, 34. Okay. So how much time do you put in 34 seconds?
About 10, 15 hours.
10 to 15 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, why would it take so long? I mean, it's only 34 seconds. Like, how does that actually take that long? I don't get it.
Because I pay attention to every second. Literally, I make sure that every second is going to get the viewer to the end, because every second matters. On a short, you lose 1 second of a person, you have the chance of your short not even taking off because of that 1 second. So I pay attention to every single second.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. Believe it or not, I'm a short form nerd. When I was 8 years old, I wanted to create Super Bowl commercials, and so I was hyper specific to ad copy. And so my sweet spot was 30 seconds and a minute, and I just really, for my whole life, have really geared into how do you control interest and engagement in 30 seconds. And so when short form comes on, I'm a huge fan of short form. I watch a lot of it. And I'm able to see those elements from there, and producing some of the most disruptive ads of all time, and being a part of that. It's like you're literally spending sometimes tens of hours on every second. Just every second, every shot is key, because realistically, if they bounce and you miss 2 seconds of it, that could impact the whole video. From an ads perspective, if they bounce before that, you're not really getting to that call to action, which is really important. And so really, really love that. So you'll spend sometimes 10 hours ish on 34 seconds. And so what's the most amount of time that you've ever spent on a short? I'm very curious on this. Like, when you're editing a short.
Oh, probably like maybe 25 hours. There's no way it's more than 30, but probably around 25 hours. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you get to 34 hours, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, if you had 34 hours for 34 seconds.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
No, yeah, but I think it's just more that process and realizing, okay, got a piece of content that I'm happy with. It might have spent 8 to 10 hours to 20 hours, whatever, getting it there, and then you actually upload it, schedule it. So that's what you said.
Yeah.
And has there been ever a time when you schedule it, you take it back down and re-edit it, or do you just let it go after that?
Usually I let it go, but there was only probably twice where I was like, oh, it just hit me that something would have been funny if I would have added it. So I would literally just go and add that sound effect and then put it back up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a thing, is there has to be a time that you call it quits. There's a lot of content creators that I've worked with in the past that I've mentored, that they just try to polish their piece of content, and they're never satisfied, but there needs to be a time that you're satisfied. Say, okay, hey, boom, I'm ready to go. This is ready to go. And even though that I am not super excited about the whole video itself, I got to get it out there, and move on to the next one. Do you feel like that's kind of your case, your cadence, of, okay, here's my deadline, getting my deadline done, and then you're moving on because you have other ideas that you want to create? Or, what's your process in that?
Oh, 100%. I set deadlines. So I make sure, I'm very strict on myself. I need to upload every Saturday at 10 a.m. Not that I need to, but that's what I tell myself, just so at least I'm uploading something. Otherwise, I'd be working on a short for maybe the 34 hours, like you said.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. So, okay, I want to kind of switch gears, because I mean, that was kind of your process of what you do to create. I want to talk about one video in particular. It's this video right here. And there's let me go probably to this view is probably better. Okay. So this view of this video of the analytics is interesting, and I want people to realize sometimes what happens on YouTube, and I want to specifically talk about this section right here. So you released a video, and it's like almost 56 days that you got literally no traction, like no traction whatsoever, maybe 2,000 views on that. Why, number one, did it take off? Why did this video take off, number one? And number two, what did you learn from this? And what can you tell other people that are frustrated when they're not getting the views that this could happen to them as well?
Yeah, so when I uploaded this video, this was back when, like I said, I didn't understand the importance of knowing your avatar and audience. And around this period, like I was uploading like even videos that would cater, like for example, one video would be 90% male audience, 18-24. Then the next one would be like primarily female audience, and then it would be a younger demographic. Like I was all over the place when I first uploaded this video. I was experimenting. And when I uploaded this video, I realized that I want to make this type of video because this was my first saving money video, actually, I believe, one of my first. And that's when I was like, oh, I want to lean into this a bit more. And I started making more around saving money. And I believe probably around those 50-day mark was when I really was able to find that audience for this video, and YouTube, sent it to that audience as well. That's what I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
happened.
Let me give a little clarity on this because, you said two really important things. Number one, you were making content for a variety of different demographics, and it would be appealing. Like your content wasn't appealing to everyone that was watching. So like I said earlier on this live stream, is like YouTube looks very particular what people click on, but they also look really closely at what you don't click on, and if they skip over it, there's a reason behind it. And so at the time you were 17 and you're like, okay, like I want to make content, for my audience that's more like me. And what am I interested in? Saving money. Okay, so how am I going to do a 99 cent coffee at McDonald's? That's the video, right? So great
Mhm.
idea, great execution of the idea, but at the time you had a split audience. Like you had people that didn't want to click on it, right? So it went a whole period of time where people would watch it, you'd see a little bit of an increase, but it was the right audience. So the right audience was the Gen Z and Alpha that like this type of content. But if you never produced another video for Gen Z or Alpha around money saving topics, then there's nothing to give YouTube data points of say, oh, they like this type of content, give them more, because that's what we want to do, right? And so the moment you said, okay, aha, that's what I'm going to do, and that's when you're like, okay, I'm going to hit every Gen Z, every Alpha, and I'm going to be consistent with it. I'm going to forgo trying to be the Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, Alex Hormozy, whatever over here, and I'm going to just show people how to save money. And I'm going to go very specifically on Alpha and Gen Z. And you started putting consistent content out. When that actually hit, what was interesting is that's when you saw an increase. So you had a video that popped off. And then YouTube had to give it more content. It did. It's gonna, like when something pops off for you as a content creator on YouTube, the first place that YouTube's gonna look at is in your own library for more content. And it found this video, and you went from a couple thousand views to
Mhm.
millions.
Yeah.
And that's what's beautiful about that. And so for me, and even to this day, it's still bringing you consistent views because the way that YouTube operates, this can go on forever, and you're able to get a ton of content. When you put content out there, YouTube's always looking for which is going to be the best video for us to recommend to this new viewer that's coming on. And so I want to talk about that specifically. So when you actually had the aha moment of, okay, I know who my audience is, I'm getting hyper specific who this audience is, and I'm getting super relevant on getting topics that excite me, but also it excites this core audience. Like what would you say? What would you say was your aha moment when you hit that of how you approach content moving forward?
Um, like the aha moment after how I approach content after understanding the importance of
Yeah,
audience.
yeah,
Yeah, so what really clicked for me about the audience was returning viewers. Like in that metric, I got obsessed with the returning viewers metric.
Thank you. Because like you know how like if there's ever a couple things that I'm like going on, we don't care about subscribers. We want people just to return, right? And so
Yeah.
yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah, like so when it clicked for me, when when you were talking about returning viewers, the first thing I did, and this is how I transitioned into making that content. I was like, I switched my tab to last 90 days because
That's what I do.
that's
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
and then I looked at my returning viewers when I first started Channel Jumpstart, and I was getting a lot of views. My channel had a total of like 100 million views on it, and it had 5 million returning views in the last 90 days. And I was like, oh, let me see if I can get that to 10 million. So that's where it started. I was like, oh, let me get to 10 million. Also, now I'm at 30 million, which
Yeah.
is crazy. So it's working. But basically, what I did from there was I looked at my my catalog and sorted by most popular and saw my outlier videos. And I thought about the videos that I wanted to create and was intentionally recreating them so that YouTube can send it to the right audience.
Right.
I was, following a similar structure, similar hook, similar titles, and that created a lot of returning viewers. And I made sure to be strategic about it. I didn't do it back to back. So, like for example, food. I don't do food videos back to back to back. I never let myself do two of the same or similar videos back to back. So that's
No,
that's
I love
basically
it.
what I did.
There's a couple things I want to unpack on this
Yeah.
because I've had a lot of students, girl. I really have. And there's some that just they don't get it out of the gate. They just don't. It takes them a couple times to go through it. Like when I'm mentoring them, they'll go through that mentorship quite a few times before the light bulb clicks on. But you instinctually knew exactly where to focus. Now I know I say it, and I've said it to all my students. Okay, this returning viewer is the most important thing. How do we get people to return? How do we get people that want to anticipate your next video? How do we get people really wanting to go deeper with you? And as you're creating your content strategy, but you got it right out of the gate and you applied it. And I think a lot of people will say, well, that's great for you, Jenny, because you do shorts and it just, that's just the way that it is. But the difference would be is that returning viewer is so hard to nurture, to get them to want to come back and want to watch more, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's that connection of this theme around a niche that they like, but they also like the person, the creator that's creating that content around the niche. And so as you're getting those returning viewers to come back, that's kind of that loyalty factor that they're going to go deeper with you. And so instead of watching one video in a given 28 days, they're watching 6 or 7 or 8 videos, because they just love your content, and YouTube's serving up that content in them, whether it's in a feed driven form or they're going deeper on, the videos itself. And so really do love that. And I love how you're able to do it. But I just want to show everybody real quick, because when you look at growth, and if we were to break this down very specifically, that's when things started to happen for Jenny. Now you might say, well, Daryl, hold on. There was that big pop in the beginning, but it was at that moment where she started to get who she was on YouTube, what got her excited on YouTube, and then bringing that value proposition consistently, to the viewer. And then ultimately, it like I didn't really see much changing of your content production in the sense of posting schedule, but you got hyper specific on the content strategy when it comes from there. And I know around this time you learned another skill that a lot of people don't understand, and they don't see it. They watch YouTube videos and they don't understand what's actually happening, and it's around storytelling. And I want to talk about that, because I think you're actually one of the natural storytellers that I'm seeing on YouTube. I mean, like a lot of your content, you just barely had a birthday. You're 18 now, but I mean, you're 17. When you're 17, it was just instinctually you're like taking people through a journey. And I want you to take a minute on storytelling and the importance of storytelling, regardless if it's a 34-second video or a 3-hour, 40-minute video.
Yeah. I love storytelling. I'm obsessed with storytelling. Basically, it's important because the way I like to see it is obviously you want high retention to show that viewers are enjoying a video, and storytelling is the way to do that. Retention is storytelling. Good storytelling will bring you good retention. And the way I like to see storytelling is taking a viewer through a journey, through a transformation, getting them to the end of the video, like I said. And there's just so much to unpack with storytelling. Like it, it makes it a video more shareable. If there's storytelling, people are more inclined to share a video.
Yep.
They're more inclined to comment. They're more inclined to engage. It creates a stronger connection between you and your viewer, because a part of storytelling is also character. So having like a relationship, what people call a parasocial relationship with my viewers.
Yep. Yeah, I think this one is once you get consistency of upload, this is a craft that you always have to refine to be an amazing storyteller. It's hard, and even if when you're an amazing storyteller, you always got to level it up in so many different ways. And so for me, when I mentor Ginny and students like that, we really deep dive in how do we make it more personable, because that's what storytelling is. And at the end of the day, how do we bring elements that we have a shareable moment that people get excited about, that it connects with them, either entertainment or inspiration or education, that they're thinking of 4 or 5 people that they can actually share it with. And the only way that we can do it is if the idea is simple enough for them to understand, and then also simple enough for them to share. And that's the idea of the video. And then 2, it's not overly complicated. So like I always try to, okay, how do we simplify the storyline? How do we simplify the story? How do we simplify the video? Because the more that you can simplify it, it actually speaks deeper to you. And I can tell you right now, I remember videos I watched 11 years ago because of the storytelling. And to me, it meant something. It created a moment where I'm like, oh, you got to check this out, right? Okay, so I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you the perfect example of one. So my daughter is a little bit older than Jenny, she and I are like BFFs. Like we just can complete each other's sentences without even talking, and we love each other to death. She's a Star Wars nerd. I'm a Star Wars nerd. We nerd out on Nirvana, but all things Star Wars. But we always send videos. I watched a video today on TikTok. It was 3 days ago on TikTok of this 1.5-year-old playing the piano. And it was just like, wait, what the freak did I just watch? Like, what's going on? But it was just, I was just like mesmerized of, like you could see this, this connection between this 1.5-year-old and music, and it was beautiful. And so I sent it to my daughter, and it went viral on TikTok and all the other places. But it was like super, super, super awesome that it just connected, and it connected on a deeper level. And so that is a beautiful type of storytelling where you catch humanity at its best. Something that's simple to understand, but also you want to share. I'll remember that video for a very long time because it was one of those things that I took out of the time of my day and sent it to my daughter because I wanted her to experience what I just experienced. And then we actually had conversations, very specifically on that. And so
I love that.
I mean, we can nerd out about how much we share this stuff, but when I know you specifically, when you're going through my mentorship, we get to storytelling and you're like, wait, whoa, and you started to approach your content differently. So in your storytelling, where do you start with the story? I know you do a lot of prep and validating an idea. What's the type of story lines that you're doing? And then 2, what about characters? Because you're only at 34 seconds. Are you developing characters that are along the way? What's going on there?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of characters. Like when it comes to storytelling, with every video, I try to have a theme. You can't have a strong theme, but I always want there to be a message. Similar to Pixar. I love Pixar, so I will have my idea, and I will think about the message, how I want to deeply connect with people, what I want them to resonate with, basically how I want to end the video. What's the note that I'm going to leave them at? What's the message I'm going to leave them at? And from there, I'll think about the end and I'll write that down. I'll write down what the ending is going to look like, literally look like, and what the script is and what the message is. And then I'll work backwards. How can I get the viewer to that theme? It's usually about character transformation. I try not to fake things or like make the transformation seem like forced, but I'll try to keep it natural, make sure there's some sort of transformation along the way.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you and I approach things similarly. That's why I just have this connection with you. I just love it because I always think of, okay, where do we want to be? Like, what's our finish line? You heard me say that a million times, but even in a video, it's like, where do you want them to be? What do you want them to experience? And I think that's different. I think a lot of people focus in on the hook. You already did too. How am I going to hook them in? But once you understand how you want them to do it, to get to that moment, where do you want them to be in the journey of the storytelling is something that most people don't do. I can guarantee you, if I was to do a survey with everyone that I worked with over the course of my career, maybe 3%, actually look at that. They're more about the idea and the creation, but not the outcome of the idea and the creation. And so really do love that. So my question is, once that clicked for you, now what do you do? How do you program it in a way that you're including those elements? So you're already thinking with the finish line in mind, what you want them to experience. How do you pepper in the storytelling and the connection?
Yeah, well, I studied so much storytelling. I've studied so many script writers and broke down movies. So before I had to like use like story structures that were already pre-made, like the basic like hero's journey and stuff. Now it comes natural to me. So storytelling comes in naturally. I just pepper it in. You just get the hang of it, I think, more often that you do it. And as for characters,
Well, I think when you're
yeah,
more intentional, right? So like when you're more intentionally looking for it, it becomes more apparent. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, correct.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, okay, so here's the thing. So let's just facilitate an idea, and I don't want to do an idea that you've done before, and I just
Uh-huh.
want to work through the process of this, right? Like, how would you do a storytelling? So, let's
Okay.
say that 7-Eleven is giving away free Slurpees on 7-Eleven day, right? And you're talking about how you got a free Slurpee, but you're getting it, like a 5-gallon jug of Slurpee.
Oh, that's so good. That's
Okay.
such a good.
Hey, let's do something on YouTube or whatever. Okay, so how would you let's just use this as an exercise though. Like let's not look at the hook right now, but let's like look at the storyline. So what do you want them to walk away with when they watch that 34 seconds of sweet goodness because you have a Slurpee, right? Like how would you
Okay.
craft that story?
Okay, so off the bat, I want them to think that I'm not going to be able to do it because I want that transformation to be that this is impossible. There's no way. But then by the end of the video, be like, oh wow, she actually did it. And I'm not sure what the deeper meaning would be because I have to test it out. But I will keep note of that while filming. What I mean by deeper meaning is like, is it because I was polite to an employee and they let me?
Yeah.
What and I'll keep those things in mind, and I could probably list them out. So that's one of them, or maybe like I have my family to help me. Maybe we all get a
Take one
singular
and then dump
cup,
it in.
and then we dump it together. So
Exactly.
that's actually a route that we can take. And then it's like the importance of family and how we work together. I actually like that one because that's like a common theme in my
But
channel.
7-Eleven day's coming up. I mean, that's July 11th, so you have enough time to prep it. Because I think it's a great video idea, not just because I just spontaneously thought about it, but there's a couple things that she said that I don't believe most of you caught, and I want to refocus. So I've sit with content creators before, and people really focus in on title, thumbnail, hook, title, thumbnail, hook, title, thumbnail, hook, and that's all they focus in on. And what she just said, I can literally say of the top 1% of the YouTubers that make the most money, that makes the most disruption, this is what they always talk about. which is the mechanism. What is the mechanism to do it? So she thought, oh, okay, how am I going to do it? Am I nice to an employee? What's the mechanism of the video? And to get her family to come in, or random strangers off the street to come in to help her do it, that's the mechanism to make that happen. And so when you're really looking at content, I always look at, let's validate the idea. I don't want to make the video if I can't simply understand what the video is from a title, thumbnail. I need to pull them in the first few seconds, and then keep them engaged the first minute, and pay off in that first minute. And then I need to ramp up. But ultimately, what's the mechanism to go from minute to minute to minute to minute? The mechanism always is the story. That's the storyline, because like realistically, getting a free Slurpee, anyone can do the video and they'll say, hey, look, I got a free Slurpee on the free Slurpee day. Well, no, I wanted to get it in a 5-gallon jug. What do I need to do that? And what's the mechanism that will tell the story along the way? And I'm here to tell you, like, if you can get that down, if you can actually do what Jenny just said, that is where success actually occurs. And if you can get a consistent theme of the mechanism, a lot of people won't even know what's going on, but they'll almost anticipate it. Oh, I bet you he does this, because they like, or I bet she does this, just because it's a common thing, So
yeah, because most people don't. I love that you brought that up, because there's a lot of people who copy my content, and that's the biggest thing that they miss. Because I usually will make food for cheap and then have someone taste test it at the end, and then they'll do that. They'll make the food and taste test it at the end. But it's not about just making the food and taste testing it at the end.
Yeah.
How did I set this up? How did I get them to start taste testing it?
Yeah. And you will know this because you went through my mentoring program, but I like literally nerd out on the storytelling. And then too, there's like a pattern of storytelling. One of the best storytellers from my perspective on YouTube is Mark Rober. And if you take all of his videos, like he sets up his story pretty much the same way every freaking video. Like you just see it. Once you see it, you can't just say, okay, he's doing it a different way. He's not. It's the same video, just a different topic. But the storytelling mechanisms is the same. And I love that. So what would you tell someone that is struggling right now in the sense of getting started on YouTube, and they've been doing it for a while, they're not seeing the success that they feel like they deserve, and then two, they might have been uploading for quite a bit of time and just not knowing where to put their focus. They feel like they're putting the focus in the right areas. Where should they put their focus?
That's a good question. I'm going to talk directly to shorts creators, because that's where I specialize in. I think you should focus on everything, obviously, but I think, do I have to say one?
No, you can say as many as you want. That's fine. Just, we'll give you a little bit of time here.
Okay, yeah. So I would say one, like I found this worked for me when I got started, uploading as much as you can. As funny as it sounds, because I'm a quality over quantity person right now. But when I started, I mean, I thought I deserved more views, but in reality, my videos weren't actually that good. And I had to get my reps in. I had to upload more videos to learn storytelling, to learn how to edit, to learn all these things. So for one, I would upload as much as you can, understand the content you like to make, understand your style. And once you've gotten to that point, then I would start focusing on, what I did was understanding your retention graphs, because shorts is purely retention based. So if you're not getting the views, it's most likely because I'm not saying it's exactly the reason, but I think it's most likely because the retention's probably not high enough, or you could be hitting different audiences. That's another reason. But let's just say it's mainly retention, because that's the most common issue. Analyze your retention graphs to see where people drop off. Not just be like, oh, they dropped off when I said this. Understand why. How can you prevent that? And how to make stronger hooks so that people watch. Because if you don't stop their scroll, they're not going to watch the video.
Yeah.
Thinking how to make a strong hook, strong ending too. Because if people leave at the end, your retention, is going to be terrible as well.
Okay, look. So you said, "Oh, this is Daryl. This is only gonna be a short strategy," but guess what? That's content. Like
Really?
it works for long form too. It's like literally the same elements. But I think at the end of the day, it's one of our mantras. My mentoring is plan, execute, analyze, and adjust. And the analyzing and adjusting phase is I believe the most important for your content strategy because it tells you what works, what doesn't work, and you're going deeper on why did it work, why didn't it work, can we replicate this? And so I was just doing something with a jump starter. And we were going through, and he had these big old bounce in his retention graph. I'm like, "Do you know what that is?" He goes, "No, I don't even know what that is." Like it's surprising. I'm like, "Okay, wait a minute. First off, I told you got to be looking for these things, you know." And it brought, that's where the golden nugget was. That was where people wanted to go deeper. That's where they rewound it. That's where they shared it. And you had these huge moments. And I'm like, okay, let's look at another video that's similar. And it was in the same bucket. And let's see if it did the same thing. It was identical. And I says, okay, now knowing this, here's an element that you can do to even go higher is if you'll put words in on the in the video itself. So it'll pop up some graphics because of this. And go ahead and try it. So he goes, well, no, I did that in this other video, and it was like 4 times higher than ever before. And he's like, I don't get it. And I says, well, number one, the reason why they're doing it is because they're pausing or rewinding it and pausing just so that they can get the copy of what you're writing on it. Because you're talking about how to do emails and stuff like that. But it also gives you a video idea of saying, okay, here's my copy for this, just based on what you're learning here. And so it gives you content strategy because you can see that they found so much value in this that it's going to lead to an idea, or so much value in this that you can replicate this as you do your content, which I love. So no, I think what you said is very valid for all types of content creators, not just for short form. Okay, so I'm gonna do this because this is really important. We're gonna add this to the stream right here. So here's your videos, and what would you say your your favorite video? Which one would it be? Would it be
Scroll up the party.
Was it
Probably
the party?
that.
The Christmas gift?
Yeah, I
No.
threw a party with only $20. The party.
Okay, I probably have to
It's on
find
the
that
top.
one, but
It's on the top.
there's
On top right.
right here. Okay, right here. Okay,
Yeah, that's my
so
favorite video.
you did a gift for $20. Okay, I love that. I love that. Why did you love that video? What was so great about it?
Uh, I think it was funny. This was one of those videos where the hook was weak, and I was like, the idea. I also tried validating. It wasn't validated, but it just had so much fun. I remember filming this, and I just remember it being hilarious and fun.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Now, knowing that worked, are you going to ever redo something? Not necessarily redo the video, but take this idea, learn from it, and do something better. Would you ever do something like that?
Oh, 100%.
How would you approach it?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this recently. There's two ways. Either one, I can attempt a long form, or two, make another short. But I guess the approach would
Okay, wait,
be,
whoa.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna let
Okay,
you
okay,
just go off from here. You just said
okay,
something where I was gonna go very, very specifically.
okay.
Because it's a strategy I know works. It works every single time. Once you have fun with it and you're able to see the success. But at the end of the day, when you look at what type of content creator you are, you gravitate to the short form content. That those 34 seconds, you gravitate to that. Now, you've heard me out a lot, and what do I tell you?
To make a long form.
Make a long form video. and there's a reason why is because even though that you're a creator of shorts and you like short form content, you still watch long form videos, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah. How often?
not as much as shorts, but every day. Yeah,
Yeah, every day you're watching something. So for me, you have an audience that loves you and cares about you and loves the content. And realistically, the short could be what I call the toe in the water campaign. So for me, in marketing, we do, hey, does this idea actually work? And we would call a toe in the water campaign where we say, oh, okay, we're putting your toe in there. Does it work? Yes, it does. Well, let's put the time, energy, effort, and resources into it to be something bigger. Or we could do something bigger and say, okay, that worked really well. What can we do with this as a short? And so you're able to cross pollinate not only the viewership, but like when someone's engaged on your content on a short and you found your audience, they will watch longer form videos. And so I want to put this back up because this is kind of my little thing for you. I didn't know which video it was, but when you come to your videos, you released the videos 2 months ago. You have 500,000 views on that. Now the difference would be is what YouTube as an organization would like you, Jenny, to be is they want you to be a content creator. They do. They want you to really use their platform for good, which you are. Okay. But at the end of the day, they want you to be a multi-format creator. They want you to put shorts, but also do long form. So even if you did long form every 6 weeks and you're consistent with that, that is amazing. And it could be this moment where you premiere it with all your viewers or whatever. Say, hey, it's every 6 weeks or whatever, because that's what Mark Rober does now. He only puts out probably 8 videos a year out, and it's just like you can do that. You could actually put the energy and time into it, because I know that you'll probably spend hundreds of hours on that long form, and that's going to take time. But you actually have the format. I think you understand the storytelling. I think you understand the ideation, validation, the hook. Now it's just like how do you present it in a way that would work. And so I'm going to give you the best advice I possibly can give you on this. Is like you have to make it a priority to do it. Have long-term sustainability as a YouTube creator. In this realm, you need to have a systematic plan for that, because the big money, believe it or not, isn't necessarily going long form and getting the ad revenue. But the big money is when advertisers want to give you money to produce content, and you're in a vein that they like. If you look at Mr. Beast, what was the first integration that he really did over and over and over again, which is a plugin that saved you money? You should know about some of these.
Honey.
The Honey, right? And he elevated Honey to a level where these businesses are like, oh my gosh, we really need to do it. So you could actually find those opportunities. But the reality is, I shared with you an example of a YouTuber that does more on TikTok now than he does on YouTube, got paid $1 million. It was like $1.1 million for 30 seconds. For 30 seconds. And that's all he wanted. And they wanted to have him put it on his channel. And so you can have that opportunity. So what I want you to do is seize the opportunity, build your team in the right way. We've talked about that before. But look for that next iteration to make you a better content creator. And I believe that is not shorts. I think that's long form. And the best advice I can give it to you is no different than short. The mechanism's the same. The storytelling is the same. The hook's the same. The title's the same. You're going to just spend a little bit more time on the thumbnail because you can do that on long form videos. But ultimately, it's your personality and the connection and your authenticity that they're looking for. And if you do that, that's amazing. So you have all this opportunity here. And I look at your videos. You have this, I found a loophole for shopping for free. Okay, 527,000 views in 2 months, which is great, right? But the reality is, this is what the reality is, girl. I know that you could have 5 video ideas that's better than that video idea. I think that video idea is fine. I think it's fine. I think it's great, right? But it's like you now know the format. Like right now, throwing a party, like I can totally see the party aspect of it, but you can validate it through any of your shorts. So you're like, okay, this deserves to be more of a longer form, or let's try this as a longer form type content. And one master storyteller, believe it or not, that is in a similar vein, but he's not. He's more about side hustle and kind of stuff like that, is Ryan Trahan. Great storyteller. Like amazing storyteller. I'm more connected with him on the story than I am about the topic. He just pulls me in. I can't figure it out why I like his videos so much. But I think at the end of the day, I think you have that same opportunity. So here's the thing. And we've had this conversation before. What do you need to do in your business? Because this is a business. to be ready to do these longer form videos? Because I think a lot of people come on and they'll just do it. And I don't want to disrupt what you're currently doing right now. So what do you feel like you need to do more consistent long form videos? Well, first off, do you want to even do it? And
Oh,
number two, what do you
100%.
need? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so something I'm doing right now, and I'm still trying to, I guess, figure it out because this is what I need to do, is I notice my brain, it doesn't necessarily work with going from short form to long form and short form to long form. My brain, it gets confused if I work on a short then a long form. So what I need to do and what I have been practicing is batching a bunch of shorts. I'm trying to batch like 10 right now, so then I can schedule upload them and just focus on a long form. Because if I'm working on a long form and doing shorts at the same time, it's just not efficient for me. So the key thing I'm focusing on is finding that balance between doing what I'm doing right now, the same quantity that I'm doing right now, and then adding a long form on top of it.
Okay. Okay. So, and then two, is there ideas around your first bucket on long form? Is it going to be similar to the bucket that you're doing on short, or how are you going to approach that?
Yeah, I'm not going to make them the exact same bucket as it is in shorts. It's two different different viewing experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like some things that work on shorts won't necessarily work on long forms. Some things could. So I would definitely do different shorts and I mean different buckets. But I'm gonna experiment that. For example, like my last long form, my first real long form is actually also an experimental bucket of I found a loophole to
Yep.
blank.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love it. So really, really excited to see what you do on this. And for me, what gets me excited is your youthfulness, and you're actually applying really solid business principles right now. You're taking this opportunity very seriously, and you're disrupting YouTube. I mean, you've been able to get what is it, 1.1 million? Is it more than that now? I don't even know where you're at on this.
I don't know
Yeah,
either.
1.13 million subscribers, but your active viewership is like through the roof, which that's what we care about, right? And I just really, really do love that. And I'm excited just to be your friend and to give you just little bits of advice. But for me, you're crushing it, you're killing it, and I love it. I can't wait for the world to see your other long form content, and I think they deserve to see it because I think you have something in there to share with them. Okay, so I want to open it up to questions. Are you okay if we open it up to questions that people
Oh yeah, I
have?
love questions.
Yeah. So if you have a question for Jenny or for myself, put it in the chat. We'll pull it up. I think the first thing for me is this is my question itself. Is people say, "Oh yeah, it's really easy for you to grow because you're just doing shorts." What would you tell them? Like, is it really that easy to grow with shorts? Like, what do you think?
Honestly, I don't think it was that easy. I mean, it's sure it can be easy to make a short, and there are chances where there are some people who get lucky, but to get consistent views on each short is not easy, especially consistently hitting 10 million views per short. That's different than, just 100K views per short.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And I would say if it was that easy, then everyone would have millions and millions and millions of views every video that they have. But they have a lot of one hit wonders. They really do. And they translate that to success. For me, I don't think success is a one hit wonder, is when you're able to consistently actually bring value and connect with your audience consistently. So, okay,
Agreed.
let's kind of go through some questions. So, big thanks to Brian McLogan for the super sticker. Thank you so much on that. And then let's do this one. Thanks both of you. It's difficult, not disheartening, but so good to see people succeed. Good, I appreciate that. Moving on, this is the okay. I gotta slow it down because I've been going. Okay, is it
Like we're in a
quantity?
short.
Yeah, is it quantity reps for me now, Daryl E's, until I get better? And he's one of my students, but yeah, I think it's more of a when you do something consistently over the period of anything, you're going to get better every time if you'll take time to analyze what worked, what didn't work, how can I engage more, how do I validate more, and you're always striving to improve. And so, yeah, that's definitely there. So let's go to this next one. Sam, what places helped your craft on and hone your storytelling? Working on this currently, but looking for more ways to improve.
Mhm. Yeah, so the number one way is literally obviously on YouTube, but my favorite was to study script writers, screenwriters. They're, I mean, that's the purest form of storytelling, film. So I love to study actual movies and Pixar.
And Pixar. And just
And Pixar.
Pixar. That's it. Pixar. I love it. Okay, so the next one, Jenny. How do you structure your day now, producing, researching, and so on? How did you do it before you were a full-time YouTuber? So
Oh, that's so funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's have you go through that.
Oh, okay. So, oh wow. I mean, it's pretty similar how I structure my day before, and I've been following the same structure actually. Usually I don't have specific days where it's like, oh, on Monday I'm going to do this, on Tuesday I'm going to do that. It's not like that. Usually the night before or morning of, I will. Well, first off, the first thing I would do is every single week. We have to start with every single week. I have a goal in mind. By the end of the week, I want to get this, and this done. So I know what I need to get done, and I'm very specific, and that's like my deadline. Um, if I don't get it done, I have friends who hold me accountable, so I send it to them, and they get to make fun of me if I don't get to finish.
You have accountability partnership, and they tease you if you don't get it done. Is that what it is?
Yeah, basically.
That's so great.
I'll know what I have to get done in the week, and every single day I will just write out, realistically what I can get done to get that done by the end of the week. So I kind of just free flow every day.
Yep. Yeah,
But with a goal in mind.
I love it. Okay, so Coach Felix says, when defining our avatar, should we focus on understanding who is currently coming in on our channel, or should we define who we want to bring to our channel?
Who you want to bring to your channel. I'm sure Daryl would say the same. If the people are coming to your channel, you don't want those people, why would you keep creating content for them?
Yeah. I think the thing for me would be, let's look at it from this way. And Ginny knows this very well. I really don't care about demographic data. I don't. I think it's about what is your channel about, like the niche of it, right? So in Ginny's perspective, it's about, hey, saving money, getting the deals, right? It's like a deals driven. Yeah. So it's a psychographics, right? The difference between psychographics and demographics when it comes to the avatar is how we communicate to the person. So Jenny was trying to communicate to the Graham Steffens and Meet Kevins and whatever, and it didn't work. Well, it worked, but it didn't work to the level that she wanted. When she should have just went on, hey, I'm focusing on Alpha and Gen Z, and these are the topics that they care about. It's around the same niche, but it's how you communicate to them. So I think psychographics is what I focus the most on, and then hone in on how you communicate, how you edit, how you engage on the demographics, because how you talk to Gen Alpha is completely different from Boomer, like a Boomer, guaranteed. So, okay, moving to the next one. What do you think grabs attention without having to use shorts?
Without having to use shorts, what does that mean?
What do you think would grab attention without using shorts? Like, how would you grab people's attention without using shorts?
Like, yeah, I don't understand the question.
So I think and I could be wrong, Max, on this, so I do apologize if I'm not articulating your question right. But I think what they're saying is most people don't have the choice to choose your short. So when they're swiping up, they just get it, and then it's that element. So but from your perspective, what are the elements that grabs people attention without just having them land on your video?
Oh, so like how to stop their scroll?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. For me, I find that being as concise as possible and saying power words, and you don't have to say a full sentence. So like most people, I'm probably going to call out like 99% of YouTubers go like this. They go like, this is literally what the first frame looks like. This is blank or whatever it is. And it's like, for me, the word "this is already taking up way too much time. That's like I need to make sure like they start with that power word. Free.
Yeah.
You start with that free. Oh, free and showing what it is. Free AirPods. That's literally a video. You show the AirPods. You just start immediately. So it stops their scroll. Is saying those power words and eliminating filler words, to be honest, and showing that image immediately.
What is power words from your perspective? I think, look, I know what you're talking about, but what is power words from your perspective so that they understand what that is?
I mean, strong words, things, something that's gonna that anyone can understand, any age, anyone. Just I guess like I don't really know how to describe it. Just strong
Yeah.
words.
So it would be words that pull you in.
Yeah. So free, one
Yes,
dollar.
yeah, $1 free. I mean, it could be completely different for other niches, but where she's about saving money, it's like who wouldn't want a $1 Chick-fil-A sandwich? I would, just because you want that sweet goodness. But I think at the end of the day, it's just using words that pull you in deeper and wanting you, connecting with you on a deeper level. So. Okay, next one. I'm stuck with shorts for 6 months. I can't make a story how to upload. So, look, for me, and I'll take this one. I'm not going to put this on Jenny. If you're stuck with anything, spend more time analyzing why. Don't just keep on doing the same thing. There's a reason why. And if you remember Jenny's example, and I want to show you this, her reason, well, this is not the right one. Let me pull this off here and then let me see if I can get give me 1 second. Oh, that was the wrong one here. See, there we go. With this video specifically, what she was doing is she finally had her content strategies going after the viewer that had similar characteristics, which was Alpha Gen Z that wanted to save money saving tips. And then that's when she started to produce more content, which lifted a really good video from there. So for me, I would say spend time on focusing in on analyzing why didn't it work, what worked in it, what could you have done better, and just always try to improve instead of just keep on uploading videos. I want you to learn from it, analyze and adjust, and then upload again, and then analyze that, adjust, upload again. So,
Well, I love that you brought that up because most people would batch and they don't even study what they did wrong. They'll just keep uploading.
oh my gosh, that is my biggest pet peeve. No, more than anything else is like, oh, Daryl, I just made 52 weeks of content. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll see growth in 52 weeks after you're able to analyze 52 weeks of content and know how to adjust it. Cause like, that's insane. That's insane. So, okay. Next one. How would you, do shorts for an educational channel?
I would do it exactly the same. I would probably lean a little less on. There should still be a story, but I would lean a little bit less on character development and think of your audience transformation, your audience's development.
Yeah. That's a really good point is, how are you going to develop the audience, through what they're doing? For me, I like educational channels. I think you can tell a story. It's a little bit more difficult to tell a story. Here's this guy, and this is how he was able to do boo, 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 boo. That you're able to do it that way, but it doesn't hit as well as helping them and transforming them along the way. So exactly what Jenny was saying. Okay, moving on to the next one. Advice for converting moments from long form videos into shorts, or is it better to totally separate content for shorts? So I'll respond to this one. I think it's more my cup of tea on it. All I know is you can develop two different audiences for shorts and long. I've seen people do it. I see people creating an audience over here and an audience over here because of the type of format, right? What I like to do is look at the commonalities. If what is the common traits that they would actually enjoy both in long form and short form, and what are the elements from it? A lot of people that are succeeding with long form content, they want to introduce shorts. Sometimes it's like teasers that are coming up or moments that were edited out that was really, really amazing gold, but it didn't go along with the storyline of the video. And so they're able to take that moment and make it a short. So it's like a connection moment. So I look at a long form strategy. If somebody is doing long form, it's like, if they don't have a short form strategy, say, okay, what can we do to create a deeper emotional tie to an audience? And then two, how can we get a new audience knowing about our long form? So is it trailer teasers? Is it things that moments that is kind of compilation type things that will pull you into a longer form? Is it a remix? Yeah, I think it's all the above. And so you'd approach it both ways. Now on the short form, I gave you advice of what's Jenny. I would actually go, hey, here's something that worked on shorts. How do we apply it and use mechanisms in a longer form setting without just making it a repeat of instead of a 34-second video, making it, you know, a 5-minute or 10-minute or 8-minute video. It's like, how can we do it where there's other elements in there? And then two, what's really nice about that is where you're really hyper protective of every second on shorts. You don't have to be hyper protective on every second because people love a little bit more setup on things, and you just have to. It needs to hit well, and it needs to go from there. So yeah, I would definitely look at both ways, and ultimately don't get discouraged. Just try, analyze. Did it work? Did it doesn't work? But really focusing on, is it hitting the same audiences? Because you don't want to build two audiences. I can guarantee you that. Okay. Okay. How did you choose your average duration for your videos?
Oh, this is such a funny story. So, back when I was in channel Jumpstart in the first few, in the first few weeks, I was getting really nerdy about YouTube and like every single analytic. And I was
I wonder if that's the culture that we create in channel Jumpstart. I love it.
yeah. So the first thing I noticed was, at least there's no magic number, but I noticed for my channel, if I didn't have over 100% retention on a short that was 30 seconds or less, then it wouldn't do well. So on 30 seconds, I had to get 100%. So I was like, okay, I need to make at least 30 seconds. And what I did was I sorted by most popular. This is before I was averaging 10 million views, but I knew I wanted to average 10 million views. I got all my videos that had 10 million plus views, and I took the average duration of those videos. And the average duration was 34 seconds. And from there, I figured out what my words per minute was. So now when I write my scripts, it's always 34 seconds to 40 seconds.
Yeah, I love it. And what she did is something that I preach. It's like you have to look for patterns of what works, what doesn't work. And when you see a pattern that's working, what she did, she goes, oh, wait a minute. I just noticed that all these videos perform a little bit better than those that didn't. Kind of one of the metrics that I see that could be a hypothetical possibility, which is the timing. So let's go ahead and make another video based on that. And if it hits and it starts to expand, then if we can replicate that consistently, we just solved a problem, right? We solved a problem. We were able to say, okay, this is about the ideal length that we need to be in based on this back history. And then now she's using it to script and whatever. And then realistically, I believe that's why it's more, she's able to hit more bangers, is because she figured that element. That's kind of the tolerance level of what her audience likes, but also they're able to watch a little bit just more of the content. It's not too overpowering that she's missing, a few seconds, so it goes out to more people. And so, yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing to do. Always analyze and adjust, which is great.
Yep.
All right, next one is Rod Squad. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate that. And there's a couple people that kind of got disappointed I got rid of my membership, but I felt really bad on taking people's money. I don't even post on YouTube. I literally don't. I literally don't. I don't have time for it, but I'm about ready to post consistent content. It's going to be a totally different way. We're going to be launching that hopefully in June. So then we'll kind of do something on membership maybe. I don't know. Membership, I just don't want to do anything extra. I'll be honest with you. I barely have enough time in the day to do what I want to do. Okay, moving on to the next one. Homeschool mom of 8. Wow, 8 kids. Congrats on that. That's a full-time job and a half and,
Yeah.
and a half. Okay. Well, even to homeschool, that's true. Okay, I've been uploading almost 2 years about homeschooling for new homeschoolers, but I just can't understand how zero in my avatar using analytics. Okay, so what happens when you're not getting anybody watching your videos? Like, how are you looking at content specifically? How do you understand them, Jenny? What do you think?
I don't look at well, I don't know if this is the answer you want me to give. Like, I think it might be. I mean, I don't use analytics to figure out my avatar. Sure, it can help you, but the analytics isn't necessary for your avatars. It's like the psychographics, understanding the way they think. So, like for me, when I make my videos, I'm specifically talking to myself when I was 15. So
Yep.
it's not about analytics, but just understanding who you want to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No,
at
it's
least how I do
exactly.
it.
So what she did is a lot of validation is here's an idea. And so let me give it to you, homeschool mom of 8. Okay, for me, you said I'm doing homeschooling for new homeschoolers. Well, that's great. Well, what are all the issues that new homeschoolers have? Okay, I'm going to give you a perfect example of someone that just did homeschool. Okay, and how they're thinking. Right. So at the end of the day, you have to do all the problems that homeschoolers would have just being introduced to homeschooling concepts. Right. Where do they do things? What does their day look like? Get really granular with it. And then two, what you need to do is look for why are they doing this? So you have the problems, but then why? Is it more freedom? Is it because they don't like what's being taught in school, or they hate their school and they want to spend more time with their kids, or they want to travel the world? You need to get very specific on that. And then that's how you start to communicate and pepper in that. So let me tell you about a homeschooler, and it's quite appropriate about this because Jenny's on, because I'm trying to broaden her understanding. So I got this 1 hour consult from a YouTuber, and he was 16 years old. So he was a little bit younger than you, Jenny, just a little bit. Okay, and he's like he was able to get long form video in a very aggressive niche in like 4 months, 5 months, just about 2 million subscribers, and just a lot of momentum going. And I was asking him on like if there's one thing that's stopping you to create better content, what is it? And he says high school. And he's like a sophomore in high school. And I says, okay, well, I don't want you to quit high school. I don't think that's the appropriate thing. But I just look at what you made in a week, and that's more money than you said your mom and dad made in a year. And so you can afford to bring a tutor in and do your own high school experience through homeschool. And I gave him some things. So we actually went on a coaching call on finding, how, because he didn't want a GED, he wanted a high school diploma. And so what are some homeschooling programs that you're able to do with, with accredited places and stuff like that. And we created a plan with that. And then I convinced his mom and dad to do the same on it. But the crazy thing is he went from a sophomore 4 months ago. He's now a senior. He'll be graduated in about 4 months, and then
That's what
he'll
I
just
did.
like. Did you do the same thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna get next year. I'll have my bachelor's. I'm 18.
That's so awesome.
So yeah, I
Okay.
finished high school at 16 as well, I think.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. So yes, homeschool mom. Basically, you want to go in if you don't have the data. Go in and look at the psychographics. What the problems? What are the solutions? The why, and then I start packaging it that way. Especially if it's for new homeschoolers. Oh, probably another thing is you might be selling a homeschool something, and that's why you're doing YouTube. And sometimes you need to give away the farm on YouTube. The value, and so you're probably holding back from them. That's a general case that could happen. Okay. Oh, okay. Here's the Dr. T. How
Oh,
many people do you have on your team?
me.
Okay. Well, I heard rumors that you're
Well,
training someone to do some thumbnail stuff.
oh, it was editing. Well, it depends. I'm like the only, I guess, like a full-time person, but occasionally I'll have people help out. So, if I have to hire a thumbnail designer, I will. Or if I have to hire an editor for something, then I will. But it's mainly me. I do everything.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love it. Here's another one from Tom. What are some questions you asked about your audience to find out key psychographics?
So to find out psychographics, to know the psychographics I didn't have to ask my audience anything, but I like that you bring this up because Daryl, I don't know if you even know this. I do a lot of community posts every day. I'll upload a community post, and I'm secretly, oh, now if they're watching now, they know. I secretly, learn more about them unintentionally. And I guess it's just trying to understand kind of like like what Daryl says, like their offline behavior, understand them as a person.
Yeah.
You're
So,
pulling it up.
like, what's the best TV show Disney edition? I love that. So, okay, here we go. Oh, only 9%. Sweet life.
Yeah,
I
but it
guess
says a lot about my audience because they're
yeah.
probably Gen Alpha.
I can guarantee dog because you always have your little. Okay, here we go. Ready? Yeah. See, there we go. Let's see if I know your audience really. Hey, what type of merch would you buy for me? I would probably do a hoodie. Hey, look at that. Oh, none. Nobody. They
Yeah,
said no.
yeah, it's
Okay.
sad.
Yes.
So
Okay.
yeah, just understanding a bit about my audience.
So I'm like literally corrupting your data here, Jenny. Like literally. Like, okay, other, because I'm double XL. No, I love it. This is great. This is okay.
Pixar.
This one, Toy Story or Monsters, because they're both really good. Finding Nemo is too good too, but I'll have to do that one. Yeah. Ratatouille. Are you
I mean, it's
kidding
my
me?
audience. I cook a lot in my videos.
Okay. That's crazy. Anyway, I'll corrupt your data some other time, but I love that. I love that. So,
Yeah.
ultimately, at the end of the day, psychographics is a fun thing, and one thing I like to do is just try to understand what their day in the life is of them, and things that they kind of naturally gravitate to. So doing this is great because it gives people to feel like they're part of something. And then as long as you're using this as, oh, okay, if I'm doing a video and I need to do reference to something in pop media, Ratatouille is something I'm going to do versus Finding Nemo, just because of the engagement level, right? That's how you're doing
Yep,
it?
exactly.
Sweet. All right. Well, I got to go, and I really, really do appreciate all that you do. I just want to tell you that your energy inspires me. I have hope for where YouTube's going because content creators like you are coming onto the platform and are just doing it right. And so it's just an honor to be with you specifically and learn from you. I think the biggest thing that I love is your excitement to really dig in and go deeper. I just love that. I just love it. It energizes me, and I can't wait for you to do those long form videos, girl, because I want them. I want them.
I will. I
Okay.
will.
But just in closing, real quick, is there any last words that you want to give people that just need a little bit of encouragement? Like, they have been doing YouTube for a while and they're not seeing the success. They might have not ever been mentored like you were, helping you see quicker on things. Like, what advice would you give them, just in this last few moments?
Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing is it takes time. It's exponential. I know everyone always says that, but I swear it is so true. Like I said, it took me 6 months to get to my first 1,000 and then another 6 months to get to 1,000,000. It's exponential. You won't see anything until it happens. So just keep analyzing and adjusting, and I'm sure eventually something will happen. You just have to keep going. But
Yeah,
not just keep going, but be smart about it. Analyze. Make sure you're analyzing and adjusting.
that's right. Now for me, it's like a huge opportunity, but if you really love to do it, be on a quest to be the best. The thing that I love about Jenny is she is a student of YouTube, and she gets hyper obsessive over understanding how she can become the best at X, Y, or Z. It's like when storytelling, she's like, oh, storytelling. Oh my gosh. So she nerded out on storytelling. She went in deeper to understand the mechanisms that's needed to take people from throughout every second of the video. And so, guys, thank you so much for jumping on. Jenny, thank you so much. And then one last thing: if anyone is hesitant ever to come to VidSummit, you're going to be speaking at VidSummit this year. I'm really, really
Yes.
excited about it. What would you tell them? What would you tell them?
Well, about my talk, if they're about my talk or about VidSummit in general.
You're going to have a talk at VidSummit,
Yeah.
but yeah, whatever you want.
Well, VidSummit, when I went, it literally it changed the game for me. I met so many like-minded creators. That's part of it. It's a hard journey. So meeting other people who are doing what you're doing to support you. Like I said, there's people holding me accountable. It's the little things that help. In VidSummit, you're gonna meet those people. You're gonna learn a lot from top creators and learn a lot from me, and become another big short creator as well.
Yeah, I love it. Now, here's the thing I didn't know because I thought you got a free ticket because we gave away so many tickets, but you actually paid for your VidSummit ticket. I didn't know
Yes,
that.
it was expensive.
Yeah. But I think that's really important though, because like you used all the money in your bank to go and
And take
like,
my mom too.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
so the question is, was it worth it? Was it worth that investment for you?
Oh yeah, 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 100%. Now it seems so funny because back then when I was at the time it was expensive to me. Now I'm like, it is so cheap that I realize it how it's crazy how cheap it was really if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah, no, it's good, and it was inexpensive, and then yet I got to mentor you, and still get to mentor you, and really excited to see you grow. And so, thank you so much, Jenny, for your time. Thank you for the inspiration that you bring, and we can't wait to see your long form videos. Okay.
All right, I can't wait for you guys to see it too.
All right. Bye now.
All right, see ya.